No birds today?
Yeah, I don't bring them with me to this.
That'd be entertaining.
I would not subject them to this. How about that? No, today's been a fairly non-productive pain in my backside day.
Had the shot was tap. So, wow. You can't just put a chain on this.
Yeah, the most fun I had today was tearing apart a light with my daughter and showing her how the
Well, I've got two. Which I don't like it. I blow it right there.
charging works with the solar panel. It has one of those little solar panels on it.
Oh, yeah, an outside light?
Yeah. Well, it didn't work because the circuit board was just was finally dead.
Yeah.
But the light still works,
I looked on
the batteries still work,
and
and the solar panel still works. So I've shown her how all that works.
Yeah.
Your
That was
recorder's
the most
on.
fun I had today. Didn't really get a lot accomplished, but
You guys all set?
no, but it never stopped before. I think we need air conditioning. That's what I think.
I don't think the air conditioning's on in here.
Apparently not.
Good evening. I'll call the Lisbon Town Council meeting for Tuesday, July 7th, 2015 to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. First item, please.
Is roll call. Counselor Garrison?
Present.
Counselor Lunt is excused. Counselor McTevier?
Here.
Counselor Bickford?
Yeah.
Counselor Kraft is excused. Counselor Pesky?
Here.
And Counselor Brunel?
Here.
And the next item, please.
Is good news and recognition.
Open the floor for any good news and recognition. See none. Next item, please.
Would be the public hearing, itinerant vendor ordinance and fee schedule.
Open the floor for public hearing for itinerant vendor and fee schedule. Yes, ma'am?
Well, he's not here, but we'll get it to him.
Thank you.
Do you need it first? You want it when you're done? Sure.
My name is Paulette Carville. I live at 18 Pine Woods Road in Lisbon. And I'm here about the itinerant mass gathering permit for the Riverside Flea Market. The town council had a 400% increase for the itinerant mass gathering vendor renewal license. We feel that this is excessive and not reasonable. We have checked with, we, meaning my husband and myself, have checked with other towns, and 80% of other flea markets do not pay any fees or permits to run their markets. Over half of the one-timers at Lisbon Flea Market are from the Lisbon area, and they set up at the flea market in lieu of lawn sales. Tony Costello no longer runs the other indoor flea market. Therefore, you had discussed refunding would be an issue. This is not an issue now because he has nothing to do with that. I checked, and obviously the people that are running it cannot run off from his permit, if my understanding is correct. Other towns could not believe that Lisbon is charging an itinerant mass gathering vendor license. When we told other towns that Lisbon is increasing the fee by 400%, they asked, what is the town providing for this increase? Nothing. They told me I was being shafted. One town said that the Lisbon Town Council is not very business-friendly. Maine's governor said Maine is business-friendly state. Does that not include Lisbon? Based on the information provided, I request that the town council vote to reduce the itinerant mass gathering permit for the Riverside Flea Market from the proposed $400 to the same $100 as last year, or issue a temporary permit until the fee schedule could be reviewed in total. This request to adjust fees is within Section 10-259 amendments of Article 4, itinerant vendors, agenda item 2015-192. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? See none, close the public hearing. Next item, please.
Is the Lisbon Cemetery Ordinance public hearing?
Open the public hearing. See none, close it. And the next one, please.
Is the Lisbon Cemetery Committee Ordinance?
Open the public hearing. See none, close it. And the next item, please.
Audience participation and response for agenda items?
Open the floor for audience participation regarding agenda items. See none. Next item, please.
The consent agenda. Any counselor wishing to have any item removed may do so now. Items removed from the consent agenda will be considered next. Order 2015-192A to approve the mass gathering itinerant vendor permit for the Recreation Department to hold the Moxie 5K road race and the car show. There are 2 permits.
See anything? Open the floor for a motion.
I'll make the motion to accept the road race and the car show.
Is there a second to the motion?
A second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 5-0.
And the next item, please.
Under Council Orders, Resolutions, and Ordinances, Order 2015-192, the itinerant vendor ordinance and fee schedule. This is the second reading. A roll call vote is required.
Open the floor for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Garrison?
No.
Counselor McTevier?
Yes.
Counselor Crafts?
He's excused.
That's right. Counselor Pesky?
Yes.
Counselor Bickford?
Yes.
And Counselor Brunel?
Yes.
We have 4 yeses and 1 nay. Ordered passed.
And the next item, please.
Order 2015-193, the Lisbon Cemetery Ordinance. This is the second reading. A roll call vote is required.
Open the floor for a motion.
I'll make the motion for the Lisbon Cemetery Ordinance.
Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion? See none. I thought I had one question here. I already had my question answered, but for a clarification purposes, under Section 16 perpetual care and Section 20 pricing, the administration will be coming back to us at a later date to provide some opportunities and for the council to set the perpetual care and the pricing, and we will amend this ordinance at that time. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Brunel?
Yes.
Counselor Bickford?
Yes.
Counselor Pesky?
Yes.
And Counselor McTevier?
Yes.
Counselor Garrison?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Order passed.
And the next item, please.
Order 2015-194, the Lisbon Cemetery Committee Ordinance. Second reading. Roll call vote required.
Open the floor for motion.
I'll make the motion for the Lisbon Cemetery Committee Ordinance.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Pesky?
Yes.
Counselor Bickford?
Yes.
Counselor McTevier?
Yes.
Counselor Brunel?
Yes.
And Counselor Garrison?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Order passed.
And the next item, please.
Order 2015-195, RHR Smith Company engagement letter for annual audit.
Open the floor for motion.
I'll make the motion to accept the RHR engagement letter or whatever.
Is it-
The annual audit.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second?
Can you just add to the motion to authorize the manager to sign the engagement letter, please?
Do you like to offer an amendment, or do you want to retract your motion?
I'll retract it.
Eric, do you second the retraction?
I'll second that.
All right, we're back to square one. Roger, do you want to offer another amendment, or your
Yep,
motion?
For the town manager to sign the,
All right.
Okay. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
All right. Back to regular base. My only question I had regarding the annual audit was we provided additional money for the finance department to get additional auditing services if need be. Is that included, that scope in this, or is this going to be, in
That's
addition?
outside the scope. It's in
Okay.
addition, yeah.
All right, I just want to make sure we're clear on that
Yep.
before moving forward. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 5-0.
And the next item, please.
Order 2015-196 to set the date for the workshop for the Mill Street Dam.
This came about, I was at a water commissioner meeting, and Councilor Bickford and Councilor Mativier were also there. They had a representative from the Atlantic Salmon Federation there, and they were talking about replacing a water line that goes across the river at the Mill Street Dam. And then it led to a discussion of possibly maybe the town wanting to take over some of that property there at the Mill Street Dam. And I raised a concern as a counselor that I had concerns about that area for many reasons. And I felt that if they wanted to come to the town and ask us to possibly take over that piece of property after it's done, or contribute a portion of money to get some of the work done, that they should probably talk with the council before assuming that we were going to do so. So this is where we lie right now. Atlantic Salmon Federation sent me a section of time where they were available with DEP to also come and meet with us in July. They gave me from July 10th to July 24th. And I provided them, we could either meet on the 14th or the 21st, which were Tuesdays. I knew that typically works for everybody. And the only day that worked for them was the 21st.
so you recommend the 14th?
Well, they can't meet the 14th, so it'd have to be the 21st.
Okay. 21st.
Okay.
It'll be a busy day.
Very busy day.
What time?
Regular time. We actually could move it to the beginning if we wanted to. Do it at
We start at 6:30.
even 5:30. We could even do 5:30.
Will everyone be able to make it?
I can make it.
Yeah, I can.
Okay. 5:30 or 6. What do you guys want?
Go with 6.
6.
Should take more than an hour.
We can always push the council meeting if need be.
Yeah.
Okay. And it'd be Atlantic Salmon Federation.
Convenient. I'm free.
Okay. And it'll be DEP and the water department. The 4 of us will be there. Open the floor for a motion.
That's here at the town hall, correct?
We should actually discuss that probably
Oh,
first.
sorry.
Thank you for bringing that up.
When we met there, I think that's what they mentioned, is maybe meeting here.
The problem we have, which kind of leads into another thing I think the manager is going to bring up in a little bit, when the school department sent out the public hearing notice for the public hearing for the school budget, they sent out in the public hearing that it was going to be held here at the town office. But typically we hold school public and budget
Right.
public hearings at the community school. So we need to decide later tonight where we're going to hold that, and that will also depend on where we hold this workshop. So kind of bringing 2 items into one here, but they link.
Have any
21st.
or 21st
For what?
for the Atlantic Salmon Cove?
No, I guess it's something would happen with DEP where they need to have it done by the 24th. Unless we want to meet on a Thursday or something.
I think that might be better.
Or if we met at this, we could, if we meet at the school, we could meet up on that stage before people start coming in.
I'm free any day.
Yeah. If you really want to jam it in on the 21st, we can.
I don't care. I can meet on another night if need be. Whatever the council. That's why I didn't tell them that we were gonna do it on the 21st because I didn't know what the council wanted to do.
I don't know how in depth, we don't know how in depth they're gonna wanna go and how much time that's
Oh.
gonna take.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't wanna,
There's a lot of issues with that property, and
Yeah.
Tracy's been doing some research today, and, you know, there's a lot out there
There's
on
a
that.
lot.
So I just, what are they looking for from you, whether,
that's the question.
They
I mean-
during the meeting with the water commissioners, the Atlantic Salmon Federation led the people that were at that meeting to believe that DEP had already signed off on that site, and there's to say there's no contamination there, and that was what I was challenging,
right,
and that's why they're bringing
Oh.
DEP along
we've
with
got some
them.
more information on that,
So-
so.
Say, yeah, I think we need
Yeah.
to put that on.
Okay, so let's want to pick
That
another
may take longer.
a long time. So let's pick a date so I can let them know. Actually, we should pick several dates, and I'll let the council know because they might not be able to get to that date that we set.
Why don't you shoot for the 16th or the 23rd? Say it has to be on the 24th. The 2 Thursdays.
Which is the planning board meeting here?
We can push the planning board somewhere else.
16th. Let's shoot
True.
for the 16th then.
That's,
We don't want to beat up the planning board either.
that's about the only one you got.
Yeah, 16?
See what they say about the 16th? And
So we'll try the 16th, the 23rd.
Well, if we do it the 23rd, you have to meet somewhere else.
Or we push the planning board somewhere else.
Usually the police department has a spot over there.
All right, I will,
workshop,
we could even use that.
I'd use that one. There you go.
Yeah, whatever we want to do, we'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll work it out. If they can't do the 16th.
All right, I will send them, Atlantic Salmon guy an email tonight. As soon as I get a response back, I will, let the council know along with the manager, and we'll get that posted. Will that work, Diane?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Point of order,
Yes, sir.
what's the time?
We don't know yet.
You had 21st at 1800.
We haven't decided that yet. I'm going to work with Atlantic Salmon Federation. I'll send you a personal email, Larry. Next item, please.
Order 2015-196A, the Lisbon Falls Fire Company road toll.
Diane?
Yeah, this is just some housekeeping, because I thought that the road toll for the Lisbon Falls Fire Company fell under the Moxie Festival, and it doesn't, so they have to do their own application. I think somebody's here tonight, and it's just for you to approve the application so that they can conduct their road toll. If you recall, we did the same thing last year for the other company when they had it at the intersection of the Farwell Mill. We've got this all on a schedule so that these will all be done at the same time next year as all the Moxies, so we won't be doing it at the last hour. I just saw the signs go up over the weekend, and that's what made me think about it. So it's just a housekeeping issue.
Open the floor for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Is that to accept the closure or accept the,
To approve the mass gathering itinerary vendor permit.
Yes.
Thank you,
The
Twyla.
road toll.
Road toll.
all right, is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion? I think it's a great thing for the fire department, great fundraiser, and be a safe player out there and crazy 196. All those in favor?
Order passed, 5-0.
And the next item, please.
For other business, the town manager's report.
Diane.
First thing I want to report is Officer Ryan McGee has been promoted to sergeant. So we would like to wish him congratulations. It was a great choice, and I think he's going to do a good job for Lisbon. The second item pertains to the gym bond and the track bond. We are in the process of starting our post-issuance compliance reporting. I got an email from the Maine Municipal Bond Bank that said that we needed to start that, and Ed's working on a list of things that we need to get from the school department. We don't have anything here on site for any of that. Typically, the person that holds the bond is invited to the meetings, the contracting meetings, so that we can get all the information we need, such as certified payrolls, because these should be Davis-Bacon wages, so somebody has to certify that, and lien waivers on the purchases and so forth. We have none of that, and I've put a request to Mr. Green to have him send me all the warrants and invoices and documentation, copies of all of that from the beginning of both projects to date, what we have signed. And then I also let him know that moving forward, that I'm going to need to have advance notice before we sign any future invoices, so that I can look over the material to make sure that I have everything, so that we can continue on with our post-issuance compliance. We are finding it very difficult. It'd be easier if we were allowed into the construction meetings, but we've made that request and they have not allowed us yet. Hopefully they'll change their minds in the future. And we also are working on closing out bonds that are over 10 years old that nobody did the closeouts on. So we've got our hands full right now, and how we're ever going to get that information, I don't know. It's gonna be a little difficult, but I just wanted you to know that. That's puts us in a situation, so. That's all I have to report. Good stuff.
I'm sure that the finance director and you will keep us up to date as we go along with this. I was in earlier today, and the wizard is excited to get going on it. So we're lucky to have a new finance director and a new manager to take this task on.
Yeah.
Please feel free to offer anything else up, Ed, if I didn't cover it all, but.
Ed, can you just use the podium if you have anything, please?
One question before you go, how many, please go over, because you'll probably have to answer it. How many bonds that are older than dirt, shall we say, that you have to close out now?
I think I've got 4 on my plate right now that go back as far as 2002. One of them is, let's see, there's one for, I think it was a couple of them aren't large amounts. They're under 500,000. The one that's going to present the problem is the one that's for $12 million, which I think was for construction of a school in 2004. I will say that I have memoed, emailed, lettered, done whatever I can do to get clarification on the construction meetings, asked for simple yes or no. I can say that I'm really disappointed as finance director for the town that, and on behalf of the town manager, that the school superintendent feels he can treat us in the manner in which he does. I find it very odd that no one can step up and say this is how it will be and this is how the bond will be managed. There's a lot that goes on at the construction meeting just by listening and asking questions that provide you insight to what's going on with the project. Whether or not there's been change in scope, I continue to hear through the grapevine that the scope of the gym bond has been changed to go from just painting a locker room to perhaps doing some renovation. The latest round of documents I got from the school never indicated that. These are the things that you pick up. As the town manager mentioned, there is the issue of certification of payroll. We are subject to Davis-Bacon. I checked that out today with the, not today, but I guess a day or so ago with the bond bank. It's pretty dry trying to put together what's happening with a project just through the paper. And it's pretty hard for me to keep you folks as the council who represent all of the people of the town of Lisbon to give you any insights as to what's happening on the project. I have been requested by an outside agency to take some photos of the gym, photos of the track, which I will have to do, and that will fold also into our compliance. I am at the point where I don't feel comfortable signing checks anymore for that gym bond.
Does council have anything you want to say? Anybody?
Is that So you're not allowed to go to the construction meetings unless you're invited from the superintendent, is that correct?
Apparently, in his determination, was decided at the very beginning of the process that members of the public would not be invited to the construction meetings. So I guess as Director of Finance for the town, I am considered a member of the public. This really does not do much for transparency for any of the citizens of the town.
I personally will say I've been hearing about this for a while. It's very disturbing to hear this type of information, and I can't speak for the whole council, but I will say for myself, I fully support the administration with doing what they need to do. If that is taking legal action against the school department, if that is not signing any checks and contractors don't get paid, and the construction comes to a halt on the gym, I am completely supportive of doing that if that's what the administration has to do, because at the end of the day, the bond is not a school bond, it is a town bond. We are on the hook for that. It's the administration that is in charge to make sure everything is done right. And if something isn't done, it's not this, we're going to be held, our feet will be held to the fire. So I know that if people don't get paid, people aren't going to be happy, but I fully support the administration on moving forward and making sure that we are crossing our T's and dotting our I's to make sure that everything is done appropriately. And if it comes to fruition and we get to a legal battle, we get to a legal battle, but I don't think it's right to just stamp it and send it on its way. So I appreciate everything the administration is doing. And I know you guys are seeking legal counsel to move forward now, and I fully support that. Anything else?
Just Verla's Lodge sign, if I
All
could
right.
have a consensus of which one you want to choose.
In front of us, we have 4 different photos
I think.
for the lodge that the town has been working on for a sign for Verla. Diane just needs to know which one we want to move forward with.
3.
3? I vote for 3. 3?
Anybody ask Verla?
Not yet.
We want to put this in front of
the-
Verla and say, Verla, what do you think of these?
She told me she'd like to have the beaver on the sign, so we got the beaver on the
There you
sign.
go.
We might,
That'd be number 3.
You know, that's what Verla wants. Want to represent her, right?
I can ask her.
There you go.
What you wanted to, Greg?
My choice.
Yep.
Which one? 2?
Number
3?
3.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just show it to Verla and see if she likes it.
So, yeah, we'll see if she has the same consensus as everybody else.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, we had one other item you were going to mention about the public hearing for the
Oh,
second
yes,
notice.
for the second notice. The first notice went out for the public hearing for the school budget vote, council's vote on the school budget, was sent out using this as a location. If you want to change it to the LCS, the second notice, we can change the, we can have Kathy change the date, change the location on the second notice. It's up to you, whatever you want to do.
This is gonna be
We didn't tell her that it should be here. I mean, she did it on her own. So she felt that, in her conversation with Jody, she felt that this location would be suitable.
Who was saying that?
Kathy Mesmer
Really?
at the school.
So she's not figuring a big crowd.
I don't know. Summertime.
All right.
School's not in session, so.
I figured they'd want it over at the school, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah, we didn't file the notice.
What is the fire capacity here? Chief, do you know how many people we can have here with the fire code?
Under, the seats usually dictate about how many we can put in here for the fire code.
Okay.
So we've been,
Stretching it.
our access to exits have been maybe hindered by how many we have in here as far as standing room only when we do that.
I think to be
This isn't a-
safe
this
than
isn't a good
sorry,
safe.
we should have it over at the school.
That's ludicrous to have it here.
Unfortunate.
So what we'll do is,
Better safe than sorry.
Right.
somebody shows up.
I guess I would want to make sure with her that nothing else is going on. There might have been a reason why she wanted it here, but I can't imagine they can't have it up there, but we'll verify that for sure.
And if we can't have it there, maybe we'll have to have it at the middle school or something of that nature.
Okay. Yep.
All right. And the next item, please.
Is the revaluation update.
Diane, do you want to
Yep.
start, or Bill?
Well, no, I'll let Bill. Bill's here to give an update on the revaluation. He was in to speak with me last Thursday, and I asked him if he could attend tonight.
Good evening.
Hi. I'm working very vigorously along with a crew of mine, to finish everything on the revaluation. However, I have some fear that it may be difficult for me to have everything finished for, I believe, your anticipated August 25th commitment date. It would be my preference to send out valuation notices to everyone in town, have everyone have a chance to react to the valuation, come in to ask questions, do a review if there's an unresolved issue on the valuation after we meet with the taxpayer, and that may be very difficult to do with an August 25th commitment date. I just want you to be aware of that I'm running as hard as I can to meet the deadline to get the taxes out, but it's nip and tuck. And I don't know what all the alternatives are. One alternative might be to delay your commitment date to allow for everything to be done with hearings before you commit your taxes. Another alternative might be to commit the taxes based on last year's valuations, adjusted for any new construction or new accounts that I believe have all been listed and can be readily put into your system. And then hold the hearings at a leisurely rate of time when there's not a deadline looming to commit taxes based on the new value. I just wanted you to be aware of that situation, see if there's, if you have any ideas on how to avoid a disappointment at the last minute.
Council have anything?
How much more time do you think you would need if we was to extend this?
I think a month.
When did you get the feeling? Actually, before I start, does council, any other council, have anything you want to ask or say?
Given from, just what's going on, I would suggest that the better method would be to go by the previous years, to allow taxpayers time to come in if those letters don't match what they think their tax rate should be, rather than pushing them into a small window where they have to find a way to come in here and say, hey, my taxes are, my evaluation is wrong. They shouldn't be having to, squish all that into a short time period because of it being this late in the game.
Councilor Bessie, anticipating your question, I think, I began to have some concern when I received a very, very substantial abatement from a paper mill in the town of Skowhegan, which tied me up for about 6 or 7 weeks of of effort that just had to be addressed in the time frame that was available to address a very substantial abatement request. It was a $137 million abatement request, and I had to address it.
I completely understand you having to address that. My concern is it wasn't long ago you were standing before us and I asked you a question of if you felt you were going to make the deadline, and you felt strongly that you were going to meet the deadline, and this came about. I'm extremely disappointed that I just learned about this several days ago from the manager's office when we are preparing, or the administration is preparing to commit taxes. There are a lot of things I want to say right now, but I will refrain from doing so. But the citizens of Lisbon have been expecting this for the past 4 years, as you have been in the community doing this work. And I have a hard time. I have a hard time believing this type of project takes 4 years, but I'm not an expert in the field, so I don't make that judgment call. But I guess my question is going to be, if we use the current year's evaluation, are you prepared to give anything back to the town of Lisbon for a year loss from our new evaluation rates?
I will try to accommodate your needs. If that's a financial penalty to me, I will try to absorb that. If that's giving you additional services on something, I'm willing to do that. I am very disappointed that I have created the situation that you're in, and I will try to make a reasonable effort to work with you to make you as whole as I can.
I appreciate that willingness, but it still is a big bother to me that we are in this predicament, and I don't believe we should be. Citizens have fronted a lot of money for this to be done. They've been looking forward to it for 4 years. On edge, some people are excited about it because I think it's going to be good for their tax bills, and some people are on edge because I think their tax bill is going to spike. So we're going to have 1 more year possibly of suspense being built on to our citizens, which I don't think is right. At this point, I am hesitant to say too much, but I think we need to refer to legal counsel on this to move forward and see where we go from this point.
I could say the only benefit I could see in this is if we commit on the previous year's evaluation, and he sends the letters out within a month or so, people can at least get an idea of, okay, this is what my taxes are now. The evaluation is going to would make my taxes here. They have better idea of look at and come in and say, okay, my evaluation is wrong, or they can just say, wow, my evaluation didn't change. I'm good. I don't have to sweat it. So I don't think it'll be another year as long as he gets the letters out in a reasonable time period if we were to commit off the old evaluation. But my thing is getting those letters out tomorrow and having, a week or two to come in and see him if there's a problem. Some people don't have schedules that they can be that fluid with. So I'd rather give the townspeople a better chance at getting on the schedule and saying, hey, it's wrong, this is why I say it's wrong, and so it can be worked out rather than have a lot of anxiety.
What percentage are you completed?
I'm very close to being 100% completed on all the residential property. I'm in the process of doing a lot of review and a lot of data entry on the commercial property.
question.
Yes, Diane?
Bill, if we use last year's value, have you seen anything that's going to change those values drastically? I don't know, either you or Kathy to answer that. Have you seen anything come through this year that's either going to change it down or up? I mean, is it pretty solid that last year's values are last year's values?
I think so. I think that,
I guess I'm looking at the hydro as a big thing. I mean, is there anything that's really going to impact the values that?
I do not think so.
Okay.
I think that you do have a new owner of the hydroelectric plant. And it's the first time that that new owner of the hydroelectric plant will receive a tax bill in its own name, whether it's from a revaluation or based on last year's valuation. So there's always a chance that there might be somewhat of a reaction to that. I don't really anticipate one, but it is a new taxpayer. The previous taxpayer never raised any issues about the valuation of the hydroelectric plant. The hydroelectric plant had been owned by Miller Hydro, I believe, and it didn't sell as an asset sale. It sold as a stock sale, with the company being sold to a new group of investors that have renamed the company Brown Bear Hydro.
In the budget that this was passed at the state level, are there any major changes with regards to, I haven't been keeping up on that part of it, with the homestead or Betty and Better reimbursements that would impact us as well? I'm just trying to get a feel, because
I think there is a whole lot that will impact for this year.
Okay.
The homestead exemption in the budget that was recently passed, to the best of my understanding, is going to increase the homestead exemption for all eligible taxpayers, regardless of age, to $20,000. I believe that happens in 2016. There's a possibility that it's phased in, that it's not
Okay.
all the way up to $20,000 in the first year of 2016. But at this point in time, I think that's one of the biggest changes that would affect many taxpayers in a positive way.
But that won't happen in this year's commitment.
That won't happen in this year's commitment. To the best of my knowledge, that will happen in next year's commitment.
What percentage are you, would you say you have completed for the commercial properties, reviewing and entering the data?
Probably 35%.
35% complete?
Yes.
Council, have anything else on this?
Listen to Mr. Garrison, I probably think, I kind of like the way he's talking, because I think at least, if we commit on it, last year's commitment, at least, and then he gets the letters out as soon as possible. At least, I don't, let's say to me, I'll know what's what.
You have anything, Chris?
I say no.
Okay. I would like to see, I agree with Roger and Greg on using this year's commitment instead of pushing this one through to a point where maybe it's not right and we have abatements galore and then we're really up the creek. I think that's the best bet, and be another year before the taxpayers can use the new, reevaluation numbers. But I would like to seek legal counsel to see what if we can work out with Mr. Van Tynen for this running late, and move forward from there. See what our different options are.
How would that affect us if we gave him the extra month he asked for?
It wouldn't, you mean financially or commitment-wise?
Commitment-wise, we just have to,
Well, the problem is he would have to have a month to complete this, and then you would have to send out the letters, and then you'd have to have
it's gonna be a lot
hearings.
longer than a month.
You'd have to have hearings for people to come in to challenge their new evaluation.
Trying to
Yeah.
commit too soon, then he's only got weeks to do hearings if people can't get in.
That wouldn't be fair to
If they
this.
need it.
That wouldn't be,
they don't need it, but, yeah.
to me, that wouldn't be fair to our residents. All right. Anything else from council or the manager? Although this was not good news, I appreciate you coming in this evening, and I'm sure we'll be in touch soon.
Did you make a decision? It's pending business.
I would say pending business, and maybe we'll take something back up on the 21st after we seek legal counsel to see where some options we have.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. And the next item, please.
Audience participation and response for new items.
Open the floor for audience participation. Mr. Fillmore.
Larry Fillmore from Lisbon. I would like to know the date that the contract on the eval was supposed to have been finalized. Because are we still paying Mr. Van Tynen after the date the contract was finished without any penalties? Is the contract have penalties to cover us in a situation like this? This is not acceptable. I mean, I'm sorry to be blunt. It is not acceptable. 4 years is a long time. And it's what he agreed on. Okay? And those were the terms of the contract. Now, if there's gone beyond that, we shouldn't be paying him. Okay? I don't care how long it takes. We shouldn't be paying him. That's his issue, not ours. The fact that he had an abatement doesn't have anything to do with us, other than the fact that it put us in a bad way. Okay? So we shouldn't reward anybody for that putting us in a bad way. We need to see what's in the contract to see what action we can take. And for God's sake, let's not pay him any more money. Thank you.
Mr. Cody.
The man speaks very eloquently. I came up here and complained about the roads on Mill Street and how terrible it was. And I just want to show my appreciation and thank the water department or whoever was responsible for fixing it, because it's 100% better. Did a very nice job. Same with around the transfer station. I think they did an excellent job helping that situation out. And I think it's okay to give a little credit where credit is due. As far as Mr. Van Tynen goes, we have a reevaluation by the supposedly for the state every 10 years, I believe. Mr. Barnes, if that's not, I believe that's what we're supposed to do, we have a reevaluation like every 10 years or something, is it?
It depends on what your values are at. If they get too low, the state may require you to have a
You know, if it
reval. Some
takes this long to
places
do-
don't have them, you know.
If it takes this long to do a reevaluation, we're gonna be behind the 8 ball before it's finally finished. You know, this is ridiculous. I hope this can be addressed a little differently than what, in the direction that it's going. Thank you.
Anybody else? I appreciate both of you addressing the council. Larry, I think you and I are on the same page with this reevaluation. As you heard tonight, I'm not very happy about it. And if my understanding of the contract, it was supposed to be completed June 30th of 2015. It was an $80,000 per year times 4 for it to be completed. Just because it's gone late doesn't mean that we're gonna pay more. And as you heard tonight, I asked what he's prepared to give back to the citizens of Lisbon. And I'll say it up front, that's why I want to seek legal counsel, because I will be fighting for the citizens of Lisbon to get money back for this reevaluation, because I don't think it's right that we're going to hold off another year and not use those numbers and still pay the same amount as if we were using the numbers. So as you heard tonight, we're going to go down that road and seek legal counsel and see where it goes, but I'm sure you'll be updated as we go along in that way. And the next item, please.
Is council communications, because there are no appointments.
Anyone have anything you'd like to share?
One thing, we all received an email from a concerned citizen concerning the fireworks on the 4th.
Yep.
I have to say, my experience on the 4th was nowhere near as bad as usual. I only had 2 neighbors that were doing fireworks, and they were at a reasonable hour, and went well. But I've seen and heard some grumblings from people about neighbors who have not been following the ordinance, either by day or by time, and lamenting about, well, if I call the police department, all they're going to do is nothing, because I have to have proof, or they have to be here. One of the pieces of that people need to realize is when you call the police department with something like that, it registers a complaint. Whether anything can be done about it as far as a fine or something like that is a different factor. But the complaint is registered. If there are enough complaints registered that folks are not following the ordinance, it gives the chief and his folks a reason to come in here and talk to us and say, hey, the ordinance isn't working, people aren't following it, we need to change it, or we need to do away with it, because I know a number of people have said, well, we need to just vote to get rid of the fireworks. That may not be everybody's opinion. I kind of like having the fireworks. I haven't done them. I can't afford them. Too expensive. But just something that people need to think about. If there are your neighbors, if you can't work out something with your neighbors as far as being courteous about doing the fireworks, call and make the complaint. It gets documented. You can go from there. Because if without that, it's just one complaint. Or in our case, one email. One email, I'm sorry. One email doesn't do a whole lot. That's only one person, one voice. Lots of people call, more voices. So use your voice, just like voting. That's all I have to say.
Anything?
Yeah, I was just curious about this couple that is here. I know we've gone around this before and we've discussed this thing. And I don't know, I mean, I feel bad for the people. I think this is something that kind of got by us. Is it possible to give them a temporary permit just to get them through this until we get to because we're going to look at this next year as far as changing back to that. I mean, is there anything we can do? Can we?
Well, we've already had this discussion. We had it in the workshop, and we could have had it again tonight. We've talked about all the options we have, and nothing's changed with it.
Trying, that's all.
It's just a bad situation.
It's a bad. I completely agree with you, Eric. It's a really bad situation, an unfortunate situation, and hopefully the council next year in January or whenever the new council comes on, they will relook at the fee structure and take this to heart. And you'll be here. You and Roger will both be here along with Chris, and you can make sure it happens.
Yeah. I know somebody else will be here too.
We'll make sure it happens for next year, but apparently I guess we can't do nothing for this year.
So, Anything else? Roger, you have anything? No. Chris, you have anything?
I do not.
I don't have anything either. Everyone enjoy Moxie. It looks like the weather will be good. Next item, please.
Is adjournment.
Open the floor for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed 5-0.
Greg?
I didn't vote.
4-1.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Lose.
Yeah, it's the story of my life.
I don't wanna start with Bill Valentine's because you know how I get, but I'm doing some math, because numbers in me are fun. Okay? These guys here are working 40 hours each a week. It's 120 hours a week. 1 year, that's 6,240 hours. Paying them about $12 an hour. We got about 3,500 properties. We're taking 7.1